Welcome back to my channel, everyone. My name is Emily Gear. I'm a transformative energy healer and a multi-dimensional channel. And we're going to go ahead and do your twin flame reading for the next week. This is for twin flames, any kind of divine complements or counterparts, high-level soulmates. As you know, I'm very particular with my language, and that is not my favorite term, but it happens to be the one that most people know, so I use it on this channel. Before we get going, I just want to take a moment to direct your attention to the screen where my website is listed. And this is where you can contact me for a session, to set up a session, either for energy healing or reading, or a combination of all of the above. I do want to note that I do have a full-time job other than my healing work. And so if you, the appointments are going fast, essentially, because I only offer so many appointments in a week. However, I've been doing my best to get everyone in and fitting you into segments where I might be flexible in my day job that week. So that, and especially if you are international and on a time schedule where you cannot take an evening appointment, do feel free to email me at emily@IamEmilyGear.com, and I will see what I can do for you. If you have any issues with the scheduling system, you can email me there as well. Okay. So without any further ado, let's get to shuffling the cards for the week. And the first thing we're going to do is look at the energies between the twins as a whole. Okay. What energies, what's the overall energy affecting the twins this week? What's the overall energy affecting the twins? Holy shit. Temperance with the 10 of Cups. So there is a definite drive toward reunion energy, okay? I really, as much as I hate to put an expectation in people's mind, I really cannot read these cards in another way without purposefully avoiding saying those words, okay? So I'm just going to say it. That does not mean that this week brings tons and tons of unions, but it's totally possible that if it feels like it is happening for you, if you feel like it's right around the corner, that it is indeed right around the corner. And if you're still working on it and in the process, that is part of this temperance card. That's part of the idea of balancing yourself internally between the masculine and the feminine halves, clearing all the blockages to the free flow of those energies, and allowing this sort of higher timeline to manifest in your life toward this sort of highest manifestation of a 3D kind of bliss, whatever that is for you, okay? And also an energetic bliss that comes when you are fully in connection with yourself and source energy, okay? Those are two important parts that come before the connection between the two human beings, okay? All right. Super weird information. Somebody just told me, or not somebody, source, i.e. Akashic Records, and the guides and the Lords of the Records just mentioned that some people's twins are not all in a human incarnation. So whatever that means. Maybe it means they've passed on and we're working on the energetic level only. I also got the distinct impression that it can be, I'm just going to say it, an extraterrestrial, okay? Nobody at me. I've never noticed that before, but who knows? So again, we're working on an energetic plane in that case, if that is a thing. It is not something that I personally relate to, but there you have it. Okay. That is the energy affecting the twins this week, okay? Totally brings new meaning into this being a higher dimensional journey. Now they're giving me all this stuff. Like, I guess in some cases, one twin comes into an incarnation And the other one is a strong support. I mean, this is not, I'm sure I've read that somewhere before. Okay, so let's move on here to how is the divine masculine feeling? Okay, and the cards just popped for that as I was thinking in my mind about the question. And the answer, the cards that have come out are the Queen of Swords, the Ace of Swords, and the Three of Wands. And I feel like this is a very clear energy about them coming in contact with their higher truth on a really deep, not only emotional and mental, but also physical level. Like they feel the truth in their body somehow. And I'm not sure why they're using this to show me that, but I noticed the volcano, what I think is a volcano, behind the sword. And they almost showed it to me as like the magma raising up from inside the physical earth to surface. Okay. And so to me, that feels like a physical truth, something that you're feeling internally in your physical body becoming evident on the mental level, because we're talking about swords. Okay. So it could become evident in a very physical way, manifesting in the physical body somehow. You may be feeling it as a gut feeling. You might even be feeling it as some of the masculines who are resisting the connection may be feeling it as a physical illness in the stomach area. Some of them may have actually manifested real physical illnesses because of the resistance to this. I'm almost seeing like ulcer type stuff, stomach cancer, pancreatic issues or cancer, that kind of stuff. That in this situation, not for every person who has that disease, but in this situation, it's sort of showing me that as the manifestation of the resistance of your own truth of this, in a major truth in your life, if you are on this journey, is going to be the fact that you are literally separated from yourself, okay? And that is a major part of this journey, is bringing the self back into unification within your physical body first, like within this self, then also with the source self, and also with the other self, the twin self, okay? So whatever that means for you, however that resonates. I also heard, before I went down that tangent, how I'm going to do this. So there is a sense that this person is now beginning to anticipate, even if they were in resistance, beginning to anticipate the way that this may come together. Or maybe if not so much even in the quote unquote planning stages, they might be intuiting the way that this does indeed come together, that this is a thing that is happening to them. Okay. It's like being in less resistance to the inevitable. And that sounds so threatening, inevitable, but being in less resistance to the alignment is really what we're talking about. And an alignment is inevitable if you choose alignment. And when one twin chooses alignment, the second twin nearly inevitably falls into line as long as the other twin holds the alignment frequency, because they come into balance. Because the actions and the frequency of the one affects the other in incremental effects usually, but it typically affects the other. Yes, of course, there is always free will. One can choose not to do it, but that is typically in response to the other also in some way not making the choice. So you see, it's always a mirrored effect, is what they're saying to me right now. So long and the short of it is, if you are in alignment with this, And if you have chosen this, they are also kind of intuiting, or some of them consciously understanding with all this source energy here, that in some way something is coming together. Something is brewing in their lives with the 3 and all this water energy in the back. It's sort of this churning and this brewing and this moving of their energy. And it really depends on how awake and aware they are. I've worked with a lot of twins at this point, and I've worked with people whose counterparts are incredibly aware. I've worked with others that are like, I almost call them idiot savants, and that's not to criticize anyone, but it's almost like they are somehow, because they are on some level following their guidance, right, making all the right steps, but on the mental level, they're not there yet, or they don't understand, they don't have the words for it, they don't know what's happening necessarily, but they feel the alignment and they follow it. Okay. So I feel like that is happening on a mass level at this point. The real understanding and knowing of the truth and aligning with that truth on some level. Okay. This, to me, they also just said creating of the reality. And so while I might often associate the Queen of Wands with that kind of energy, to me, it's all about the alignment with the highest truth. And so the creation of that reality in their own lives is what is taking place now in whatever way is necessary for them. Okay. So if you watched the energy update for the collective, there was a lot of talk about the action and the choices that are necessary at this time to align with our highest timelines. And so that is valid here as well. Okay. And for a twin, that is always going to be part. I hate absolutes. I hate to say the word always, but maybe I just need to like step into my power there and say that's always going to be part of your highest timeline. You can choose to not do it, but there's a reason that you're here in that situation, and that reason is to clear the separation consciousness for the entire collective, among other things. But that's just the one that's coming up right now. Okay, so that's how he's feeling. And if I needed to put it in a nutshell, I would say he is feeling in touch with his truth, and he is feeling, I'm just seeing the pressure of the pull of the energy that is flowing between the twins. Okay. What does the divine masculine need to work on at this time? Feeling the pressure to align is what they just said. Feeling the pressure to align. What does the divine masculine need to work on? Let's get some more cards before I start talking about that. What does the divine masculine need to work on? Actually, I'm going to pull from this other deck, Queen of the Moon deck. A lot of cards came out for that. They all make sense. So the first one that came out here is the void. Then we have assessing. Then we have growth. And we have action. And I also got the 7 of Pentacles with the 3 of Cups. And in order to provide the most broad interpretation as possible, I'm going to interpret this like This is a reevaluation of the 3D circumstances that they find themselves in. Okay, so this can be interpreted as a third party situation where there's like a triangle. It can be interpreted as a community. It can even be the beautiful life they have built for themselves, right? They have grown it to 7 pentacles of growth. And now the realization and understanding and alignment of the truth cuts in. And they have to reevaluate what that means to them and where all of this fits in for them. Again, it goes back to the energy update I posted earlier. And one of the cards that did come out in the energy update is this action card, because it is going to require some choices and actions. And the choices are made after assessing. This is another card that means assessing the situation based upon growth. Your growth, the growth of the situations around you. Do they align? And the void. This to me feels like the unknown. This feels like the unknown that is becoming known. And the part of their life that is kind of like the shadowy underbelly that is now kind of inserted itself into whatever 3D existence they have created. Whether this is family, this is a job, things will change when you interact with this energy. They always change for the better. But what happens first is a dismantling of the things that you are no longer in alignment with. So now that they are seeing their alignment, they're beginning to have that awareness of what needs to happen in their lives. They may not know why. They might not have all the words that I'm saying about the situation, but this is what is happening for them, that they're starting to assess. Again, the void appears in this card. Assess the void and assess their lives and what is missing from that. They're showing me the two sides of a coin again. As if, I don't know if any of you heard my channeled message about the light and the no light all being part of the same thing. And as you expand your light, the lack of light also expands. So there's light and shadow, and they expand in equal proportion. And so the void of things that we have yet to know or understand expands in the same proportion as the things that we see and know and understand. And when you receive an awakening like the one that you receive when you are a twin, there is presented to you an entirely new expanse of void. And it requires of you growth to begin to shine light on parts of that void that need to be seen, experienced, acknowledged. It's like the sun creating an awareness of the void. This also feels to me like the separation itself, the separation consciousness that we are here to heal. And it feels very much to me that what they are in the process of doing is closing that gap, that separation from themselves and from source energy, which is all. That is the all, the light, which is the flip side of this void. It is the void because they are the same, right? We're talking about crunching duality. We're talking about understanding that the all is the same as the void. It's just, I don't know why I keep wanting to put two cards together and like flip them around like this, but it's like it is two sides of the same truth, okay? So as we move our conscious minds into the void, it then becomes illuminated. And so it no longer appears as a void, it appears as light, but it is still the same thing. So what I am trying to say to you is I think that they are beginning to experience the void. This might, for some of them, show up as a dark night of the soul. They've probably all gone through that at some point, or they're starting it, or they were going through it, especially this past summer with whoever I'm relating to here. But in the experience of that comes a huge assessment, which reminds me of the judgment card of all the things in the 3D life. The relationships, the jobs, the way that they deal with other people, the things they choose to spend their time on, all of the things that I brought up in the collective reading that need assessment. And the other thing that came up in the collective reading is that action is now necessary in order to propel this growth forward. This alignment with the highest timeline, the action is now necessary. And the choices are now necessary. That's the other thing that came up multiple times in the collective energy, is that the choices are necessary. I want to say that because an actual choice card did not come up here, that they may not be ready to make huge choices in their lives in all cases. But as this suggests, the awareness is coming in strong and undeniable, and they're literally feeling it in their physical body. Okay. If not knowing it in their conscious mind, with that sword's energy showing up there. Okay. I feel like my notes say to move on to the divine feminine right now, but I feel like I want to cap that off with something else. Let's do this. I just looked at my Journey of Love deck. We're going to get a Journey of Love card for the divine masculine to kind of highlight where he is in this journey. Okay. So Journey of Love card, please, source, for the divine masculine collective that I am connecting with today. Journey of Love card for the divine masculine collective that I'm connecting to today. Oh, this one was gonna. Trying to decide, is this the right one? I think it is. All right, it's number 56, the Dance of the Planets. There are forces larger than your own personal destiny at work in your life now. Although they are not inharmonious to you, you may feel as though you are being blocked from, or on the other hand, rocketed toward the heavens on a roll that nothing can derail. This is them just feeling this truth. Either way, the planets are dancing as they will, and there is an Either way, the planets are dancing as they will, and there is an effect upon your destiny. It was meant to be at this time. From rising, there will be a gentle rest to recover before rising again, and from restraint, there will be propulsion into greater stratospheres. All things in time, according to the wisdom of the greater cycles. It is okay to trust in the cosmic cycles and divine timing. After all, what point is there to rush to the bus stop if the bus doesn't depart until tomorrow? At what point is there to hold back if you are ready and set to go? Trust in the timing and rhythm of your life now, especially if it seems out of your control. This is the dance of the planets happening through you. The oracle brings a message. Pray that the planetary forces funnel blessings of grace and unconditional love, mercy, and joy to you now, that their movements through your life may happen in such a way that you can make the most of it. These are the times when big shifts are possible, supported by the cosmic movements. So pray for grace and enjoy the ride. And the poem is, in those days, time was ours. We walked in the rain and held each other's hands. Your lips warm against my skin and your soul melting into mine as night became morning among the cobblestone walks of now forgotten places we called ours. And so how this feels is really this kind of unavoidable truth, which is coming to life before their eyes, is kind of what I'm feeling right now through this card. It's that push into this truth and this alignment with truth, that again they might not consciously have an awareness of, but they made a soul choice before coming into this lifetime, which puts them in the situation that they are now. And they are in this void period where they are just becoming, I don't want to say all of them are just becoming aware, but they are in a phase, at least a cycle, becoming aware of something about this. And there is a surrender as they make these choices and set these boundaries and reevaluate. There is a surrender to this sort of divine knowledge, divine timing, divine planning. Okay. So that is what we have for the divine masculine. We're going to move on to the divine feminine now. And let's ask how the divine feminine is feeling this week. And I'm actually going to switch decks. I'm going to go with the moon child for the divine feminine. So how is the divine feminine feeling this week, please? How is the divine feminine feeling this week? All right. There are a lot of cards that came out. We're just going to go over all of them. We have the Six of Cups. We have the High Priestess. We have the King of Wands. We have the Seven of Cups. And we have the Ace of Pentacles. So I have to tell you that this feels like mirrored energy in a lot of ways. All right. This to me, the Six of Cups with the High Priestess, really feels like an internal, deep down knowing and recognition of the energies and of the connection itself. But also I'm hearing a return to joy. And so I think that this is a deep releasing of limiting belief systems, which have potentially made you feel that somehow you're not good enough, that this is forbidden on some level. For others, it's going to be that this is almost like a not good enough, but I'm hearing like the I don't deserve this kind of love, that you're judging yourself based upon some lie someone told you at some point in your existence as a soul. And that the reason that you're releasing these beliefs is that you feel this deep internal longing. Do you see how she's sitting here staring out at the sea with these scattered cups? This is a different depiction of the six than in the traditional tarot. I feel like there's this deep internal longing for that sense of connection, for that sense of joy. And for many of you, I didn't get this when it first popped out, but now I understand. For many of you, you're realizing that that connection, I know we always say this all the time, and it is said by every twin flame reader and every twin flame like healer out there, that you need to clear the wound of separation within yourself, the part of yourself that does not love yourself, before anything else can occur for you in this connection. And I feel like most of you are really getting that on a deep spiritual level at this point with the High Priestess coming up. And I'm almost hearing like the secret to success on this journey is that one very potent truth, that you must heal the wound of separation within you, and that separation from source. And that is the point of this entire journey, is to heal the wound of separation in the collective. And through the process of you healing it within yourself, healing it with God, healing it with this other person who is also you, you are creating a kind of nuclear reaction. I almost want to call it. It's almost like a nuclear reaction is how they're describing it to me. Like the way that you put atoms to, like if you fuse atoms, or maybe a chemical reaction is a better way to talk about. I don't know. They put it to me like the amount of power that's put out is like when you split an atom, right? And yet this is a coming together. So it creates a healing for the collective is where they're going with that. But I wanted to describe the kind of power behind what you are doing with your energy in your life. Because a lot of twins will come to me and say, why me? Why this? Because this is not easy. This is very, very, okay. So I don't like to put the story out there that this is not easy, but let's be honest, this is not easy. If it were, we would, everyone would be doing it, right? So that is what this is about. It is not about a fucking hot relationship. It is not about even people that you feel like you have an amazing relationship with and it's just so perfect and you just know what each other's thinking and blah, blah, blah. That could be a soulmate, whatever. I mean, and this is not to scare you or put fear in your heart about who is your twin flame, because if there is one, and I actually don't have an opinion upon whether everyone has one or if there are only a few, or only a certain number. I actually don't have an opinion on that, so I'm not saying that either. But that you cannot help but for that to come out. There's that screeching bird out there. You cannot help but for that to show itself in your life at the right time. So do not allow this to create fear in you. The message I'm trying to give you, and I keep derailing myself, is that you are finally, thank God, understanding that the wound within you, your own empowerment, needs to be healed first. And I'm going to take my dog's freaking out and that bird screeching as that needed to be said. An important point to make, realization, whatever. So you are feeling this longing deep down inside to heal the wound of separation, and you are understanding and knowing on an energetic level that it must be healed within you first. Okay. That means a couple things. 7 of Cups. This feels to me like gaining a greater, and it kind of goes along with these other cards still too. I mean, they all came out together. Gaining a greater understanding of what this really is and what this isn't. Okay? Really beginning to be able to focus on, with all these distractions, focus on the truth of what this is. Because that is part of this too. Okay? Healing the wound of separation within ourselves involves the training of our consciousness to stop placing all of our hopes, dreams, expectations, all of this shit on the outside world, all the other stuff, okay? It forces us to choose ourselves and to choose God as a part of ourselves as a part of God, okay? I was about to say it opposite, as God is a part of ourselves, which is also true, I guess. So both of those things are true. But to choose that above all this external shit that we were programmed to throw all of our attention into, because we were programmed to believe that we were not what deserved love, that everything else and everyone else needed, deserved, required our attention, our love, our whatever outside of ourselves. That's some matrix shit to keep you in separation. We are not doing that anymore. We have understood that the power lies within the empowerment of the self, in union with God, source, creator, all that is, however you want to talk about it. I just say God because it's easier, but it really is all of those things. I do not have a religious concept of God, because religion is all about separation, of course, and we are here to clear matrix constructs of separation. That's what this is about, okay? And as you choose the things that you are going to continue forward that help to align you with your highest good, your highest and best, your divine flow, all of those words I've been using for the last few weeks, you create the illumination in your life with the Ace of Pentacles. You profoundly illuminate your life. I find it interesting that it is almost as if it is the opposite of this card of the void that the masculine got. Look at that circle. It is the fucking same. People. I take a drink of water. So I'm about to keep hacking into this microphone, and I know you don't want that. So this is feeling starting to feel this real physical grasp on what the fuck we're doing. Sorry, I keep cursing. Because there has been this long period of distractions and confusion as we break through these matrix programs, which are hard to identify at first because they're so ingrained within us. We are shown that we're supposed to do something. We want to follow the rules. We go towards something like a twin flame journey looking for people to show us what the rules are, and they feed us more matrix shit sometimes. Which is why, as I think I said in my energy update, that is so important that we continue to weigh everything that we take in against our own intuition. The High Priestess. In order to choose what is right for us, what is right for you individually as a person. And it will feel that way because it will feel like the warmth of the sun. And as you do that, you create for yourself an entirely new beginning in the physical world with your twin flame journey. Because we're focused on twins right now. Honestly, you could take this exact same advice and apply it to anyone, and it would be the same. But I'm just refining it to be about the twin flame journey right now. So, as the masculine is getting a new realization, a new truth to align to, you're aligning your truth to the physical world because you have this truth here. You've cleared these beliefs. I think last week's reading, the Divine Feminine, was clearing all these beliefs, making choices, clearing the shadow. Okay? And this is the result of that. All right. So that was really only the first question for the divine feminine. Oh, my dog just moaned. Like, oh my God, you talk too much. Okay. What does a divine feminine need to work on now, though? Okay, what does a divine feminine need to work on? You get a couple cards from this deck and a couple cards from Queen of the Moon. What does a divine feminine need to work on? Oh, Jesus. There's a ton of cards that came out. We're still going to look at them. Came out in 2 groups of 4, so 8 cards. I'm just going to grab a couple from Queen of the Moon. What does the divine feminine need to work on, please? I get one more. Okay, they're saying this is enough. Okay, so I'm just going to stop. We got the sun with the star. I have the best way for you guys to be able to see what I'm doing. The sun with the star. I know, Joseph. Joseph, that's my buddy. 6 of Swords. 10 of Pentacles. All right, so let's start with those 4. This is again about that light of consciousness, that understanding and that grounding, this healing energy, which you have brought in so effectively that you are legitimately creating your reality for yourself in the physical world. That's what I feel from this 10 of Pentacles right now. The star and the 6 of Swords is the healing and the higher alignment that you are channeling in like gangbusters. I feel like you're really doing this. If that was a question for you and you're like, I don't know if I'm even really doing this, you're really doing this. Okay. If you're not sure, then I'm really feeling that more than just illumination, that this sun is reminding you to bring in the energy of joy. Okay. It came up with the 6 of Cups, but the 6 of Cups there felt more like longing for the closing of that separation. And that is what this feels like. Did I not say that this feels like the warm sun? Okay. And here is the sun coming out. And the Queen of the Moon card that came out was Attraction. It's a number 44 card. They took the time to show me that number, which is a sense of mastery. And I feel like you're developing a sense of mastery over your frequency. And that frequency is going to attract in everything else in your life. That includes being the lighthouse for your counterpart, your complement, okay? With or without that complement, though, you are still healing the wound of separation within yourself and finding and understanding that you yourself are enough and are whole. And you're building a legacy. You're building a life in the physical world, which resonates. I love my dog. Which resonates in the highest frequencies, solar frequencies even. Some of you may also be related to the central sun. That is something that I have in my energy. And so I may have attracted you in. So if so, there may be some messages there for you regarding your origins, and of course then the origins of your complement, divine complement, twin flame, because you are them. They're putting together all of these energies about stabilizing your frequency on the highest possible level of truth in resonance with your divine truth. And that is happening to dive you into 2020. Whatever the fuck is happening in that year, I've not dug into what's happening there, and I've not been listening to, I don't listen to a lot because I don't like it to affect anything that comes out for me. Joanna's toy. But this structure that you are building on in resonance with your highest truth is important for that, okay? 5 of Pentacles and 4 of Swords here. This to me feels exactly like the healing of the separation consciousness. You can see her sitting there looking forlorn. It's like there's a trail of breadcrumbs behind her, like she's run away from home, okay? And it's that sense of being locked out, of not being deserving, not being allowed. But in this 4 of Swords energy, this woman is contacting her highest truth through meditation, or through prayer, or through healing, or through whatever it is that you do that aligns you with your highest truth. And it's the... and then we have the 6 of Wands with the 9 of Pentacles. This to me is all about it's almost like the celebration of falling into your highest alignment, of gaining your power back, your own personal stability, and value, self-value, self-worth, sovereignty. There's that word again, sovereignty, right? You're breaking free of matrix expectations, of what society told you you were, needed to be, should be, you know, all of those different things that we gain that information from a million different sources, from parents to past lives to church to media to political figures. We gain that knowledge and we're breaking free from that. And this is the celebration, the victory of breaking free of those limiting beliefs, which have kept you all this time in separation, thinking that you did not have the power. Okay? Let me tell you about the power that comes with the central sun. It's massive. And I was in denial of that for a very long time because I felt I didn't deserve it, that it was impossible, that it could be me, you know, that had access to that. And each one of us has access to divine power because we are parts. We are sparks of the divine. And this is the knowledge and realization of that. This is the crowning of yourself, so to speak, if you listen to another channel message of mine from a few weeks ago. And coming into full selfhood, which is the healing of that wound of separation from self and from the divine. And so this is what you are doing, Divine Feminine. This comes out, I just realized, this comes out for the question of what do you need to work on? And so that is what you are working on, right? Continue to align with your highest truth by healing that wound of separation from self and from God and from your own fucking power, because it is massive, okay? All right, we're going to close this up for the general YouTube twin flame reading with another Journey of Love card, this time for the Divine Feminine. Let's get a Journey of Love card for the Divine Feminine, please. Okay, a whole bunch came out, and I do not want to read all 3. So let me just shuffle these 3 let me pick the one that is most important for you to hear. Which one is most important? Riding the Cosmic Wave. Okay, that's number 60. Riding the Cosmic Wave. You can be carried further by the cosmic wave than by your own efforts. Where you are going cannot be attained by effort. The effort, the discipline prepares us for the leap, but after the leap, we are no longer sustained by our efforts, but by forces greater than us, the forces of love itself. You are stepping toward the edge, preparing to leap and let the cosmic wave of love carry you forward. You shall be moved through the grace into the new world awaiting you. The Ace of Pentacles. This oracle brings a message. There is a time to work hard and a time to allow the fruits of one's labor to manifest, when one may be carried by the forces set in motion by the energy of life itself. You can let go and move further, reach farther with less effort. Now is the time to give yourself permission to stop paddling and instead just ride the wave. Give in, let go, and be moved. Your spirit flies like the wind, warms like the sun, and watches like the sky. How wise the earth waiting for the moment to be touched. So that to me feels very much like shifting your vibration, continuing to do that in order to create this profound attraction at the vibration that is aligned with your highest soul truth. Okay, so the thing to be done here, and the divine feminine her job is to surrender to the process, and that is even the job of the masculine, his divine feminine half, is to surrender to the process. However, I feel like it is in the acceptance and the loving, just allowing the energy of love to come in and to heal that wound of separation. That is what you're doing right now. That is what you need to work on, so to speak. And so much of that is not about doing, it's about allowing, which is the key word for the divine feminine anyway, okay? So if I needed to collapse this all together, I would say, divine feminine, be who you are. Love who you are. And isn't that about collapsing the separation consciousness to begin with, right? Healing that wound of separation within you. Allowing your power to shine through and come through, because it comes through automatically. You do not have to force it. You just have to allow it. Okay? So guys, I hope this was helpful. I do plan to do an extended reading, although I might do that at another time, so I will have to wait to upload this video, though of course by the time you're hearing me say these words, the video has been uploaded and the extended will also have been uploaded. So I'm basically just talking to myself right now. But do check out the extended reading in the info box below for more detail. And I am just super happy and glad that you came. I'm just going to flip over to the screen so that if you do choose to set up a private with me, you can do it at my website, which is IamEmilyGear.com. And do note, because I've had this come up a couple times this week, there are occasionally issues with the scheduling with international appointments. So you may absolutely reach out to me directly at Emily@IamEmilyGear.com to schedule an appointment if you are international, okay? Particularly if you are far away from the Eastern time zone in the United States, or if you have a phone number which is not American or Canadian. It doesn't seem to deal with the other numbers well. Although I do not call you. It just is requiring a phone number. I'm trying to fix that on the technical end. But anyway, all right. Thank you so much, guys, for being here. I adore you. Thank you for your likes, subscribes, and shares. And thanks to all of you who, after my last video, immediately emailed me for appointments. That was a huge validation for me that what I am saying is resonating with people. So thank you very much. And I will talk to all of you soon. Okay? Bye-bye.